The Chase by Jace Masters. The holographic billboards whizzed by and through Riley's form as she sped her way down to her next marker on her hoverbike. This cobbled-together piece of junk had better hold out. She was so close now. A few more turns to go and the win would finally be hers. She had never won the downtown sprint, not for lack of trying, mind you, but that cocky bastard Chase always had the best equipment and his damn wait staff to pull him through. As if conjuring him up just by the thought of him, she heard the purring noise of his augmented Yamabushi monster come up behind her. "Damn, he's quick," she's muttered under her breath. "How'd he get out of that crash?" Momentarily distracted by her own thoughts, Riley missed the apex of the next bend in the course, making her a perfect target for an overtake. Chase wasted no time and hit the apex perfectly, cruising past Riley's makeshift hoverbike as if she were idling. "Shit!" Riley exclaimed as she opened the throttle as wide as she could in an attempt to catch up. Her hoverbike's core spun into overdrive as she lunged forward, careening her way down to the next marker, 15 out of 17. As she caught up to the leading bike, she noticed Chase hadn't gotten away from the crash unscathed. His bike showed clear signs of contact with something as scrapes and gashes marred its pristine paint job. "I can still win this," she thought to herself as she caught up to Chase. "Two more corners, and with that much damage, he can't beat." Focused on her quarry, Riley had completely missed the oncoming service truck directly in her path. In a split second, she decided winning wasn't worth her life and hit the emergency air brake as she pulled her bike up as hard as she could. A loud screech filled her ears, and as she glanced back, she realized the truck had sheared off at least half of her coolant tunnels. Somehow, her maneuver hadn't put her as far behind as she thought, and Riley hit the accelerator again as she could still make out Chase's bike going slow into the next corner. "Guess he has more damage than I thought," she concluded, once again opened her throttle to its fullest. Immediately, she felt the fusion core between her legs heat up as she cursed the service truck. "That fucker shouldn't have been here." Leaning into the next to last turn, Riley attempted to widen her stance as much as she could to avoid the heat from the core, but still she felt the build-up continue. She glanced down and noticed a red dull glow coming from one of the cover panels. "Just a little more, girl," she pleaded, to herself more than to the machine. Only one more turn lay between her and victory. Chase was going too slow now to pose any real threat, and the loss of those coolant tunnels had made her hoverbike a lot lighter. As she sped her way past Chase on his hobbled bike, she threw him a quick two-fingered salute and prepared herself for the final turn ahead. The heat between her legs was now palpable all over her body, and she felt the exposed skin on the inside of her thigh begin to peel away and burn. Rivets off of her engine cover began to shoot away as the pressure and heat buildup became too much for the small pieces of metal to handle. The left side of the engine cover began flapping dangerously as she sped down to the finish line. Just a little more, she thought, as right after the cover gave way, slammed into her helmet, and everything went black. "You okay?" Riley didn't recognize the voice, but something forced her to answer. "Yeah." She hesitated as a feeling of dull pain warmth radiated from her thighs. "I think so." "You are one crazy bitch, you know that?" The voice sounded upbeat, if concerned. "That's Miss Bitch to you." She opened her eyes, revealing the tousled blonde hair and all too familiar features of Chase? He looked taken aback at the way his name had been pronounced. "Yeah, the one and only." He cracked a small smile. "I guess you won, huh?" Riley stated dejectedly. He burst out laughing, and after a moment said, "Not this time, Miss Bitch. This time, you took it fair and square." Riley shot up, suddenly realizing there were more people around them, staring at her or filming her for their vids. "I did what?" "You won, Miss Bitch." The words sounded like praise. "Though I'm not sure if it was worth the cost." He nodded towards a smoldering heap of metal at least 50 feet away. Suddenly saddened, Riley got up and took a long moment to just stare at what was left of her hoverbike. "That's not gonna buff out, is it?" "Nah, your core is ruined," Chase stated matter-of-factly. "You'll need a new rig for the next race. Luckily, with the prize money, you'll be able to purchase one." "Yeah, right," Riley protested. "No way is that enough for a new bike." Chase smiled broadly this time. Who said anything about a new one? He pointed to his hoverbike idling just past the finish line, an occasional dip denoting the internal damage. I mean, she'll need some work, but you have to admit she's got it going on. Chase grabbed the engine cover plate that had knocked Riley out of an onlooker's hand. Just don't overcook this one, okay? Riley smiled and winked at Chase. No promises.